What kind of play you got for this situation?
How about the annexation of Puerto Rico?
Nothing beats a good trick play. Like when Sean Payton opened the second half of Super Bowl 44 with an onside kick that the Colts never saw coming. Or when the Rams used Tavon Austin as a dummy returner to help Stedman Bailey fool Seattle on this punt return. Or even in Super Bowl 52, when Trey Burton's pass to Nick Foles caught Belichick by surprise, and the Philly special went down in history. NFL coaches have long known just the right moment to bust out some trickeration. But that isn't always the case. There's one moment of such stupidity, such failure, such mind-boggling execution that Vince Lombardi should be spinning in his urn. This is the worst NFL trick play. December 21st, 2009. FedEx Field, about 10 miles from the Capitol building. We're almost halfway through a very lopsided NFC East matchup between one team already eliminated from the playoffs and one team still fighting, but, well, they'll also miss the postseason. Sorry, spoiler. Grounds crew has removed 25 million pounds of snow from the field and stands, so this game can be played 2 days after a major blizzard dropped 2 feet of powder on DC. But based on the score, the home team probably wishes they would have postponed this due to weather. Anyways, Washington's in kind of a weird spot here. With 2 seconds left and this big of a hole, a field goal is not actually all that enticing. So head coach Jim Zorn decides to be aggressive, which is good. Unfortunately, he decides to do it with this play, which is very, very, very bad. Let's talk about why, shall we? First, there's the obvious. 2 players are, in theory, supposed to block 3 Giants pass rushers. Those numbers are not favorable, and they get much worse when neither even attempts to slow the defense down. Within a couple seconds, punter/trickster quarterback Hunter Smith knows he has a very painful future immediately ahead of him. But let's give him credit. A sack has no chance of helping his team here, so good on Hunter for getting rid of the ball. When he does, not one of his teammates is within 15 yards of the end zone. Again, there are 2 seconds left in the half, so this is almost certainly going to be the last play. Fred Davis, the only conceivable target of this pass, has 4 defenders between him and the ball. Even if it's not underthrown, it would require an absolute miracle for Davis to get this ball. Oh, and remember that guy who went in motion? That was kicker Graham Gano, who just sort of ended up hanging out by the sideline. It's safe to assume that that's his job on the play, but if not, major points for self-preservation. All in all, the only positive about this play was that Washington kept New York from returning the interception for a touchdown. Wait, you're saying? How can this be the worst trick play in NFL history and not that nonsense the Colts tried in 2015 against the Patriots? That Colts play, embarrassment that it was mostly a failure of execution. Indianapolis was trying to make it look like the offense was coming back on the field and the punt unit was leaving, hoping to catch the Pats with too many men on defense. Alternately, they hoped the confusion would lead to someone jumping off sides, and if neither of those things happened, they were just going to take a delay of game and punt. Obviously, impromptu center Griff Whalen did not get that memo, and you can tell Colt Anderson, who's the QB here, isn't expecting the ball to get snapped. Jim Zorn's play isn't meant to draw a penalty. It's supposed to catch the other team unprepared. But the Giants seem pretty comfortable defending this, almost like they knew what was coming. Well, guess what? They did. Washington set up to run this play, including having the whole line swing out before the snap, and Tom Coughlin called a timeout. The element of surprise was totally gone when they went back out there and did the exact same thing. That right there is why this is worse than that Colts play. So why did Zorn go through with it? My theory is that he was compelled to do it because of his addiction to the pure thrill of trick plays working out. Let me walk you through his history to understand why this man was so horny for trickeration. First off, he's had some success calling trick plays during his short tenure as a head coach. In 2008, he beat Philly thanks in part to this touchdown from Antoine Randall L. to Chris Cooley. And Washington's first touchdown of 2009 was a trick play scored by our poor smothered friend, Hunter Smith. But that's not even Hunter's greatest scoring play of this season. In Week 10 against the Broncos, Jim Zorn passed up a long but makeable field goal to let his punter attempt a pass on 4th and 20. This time, they actually give him some protection, and Hunter Smith unleashed his cannon on a cross-field 35-yard touchdown pass. Oh, and this play also came after telegraphing it before a timeout too. Just fantastically shitty defense on your part, Denver. But Jim Zorn's trick play addiction started decades before that, when he was an NFL player, not a coach. Zorn started 100 games at quarterback with the Seahawks in the 70s and 80s. He also did some holding on field goal attempts, and that's where Seattle really got weird. They used trick plays to have Zorn run the ball. They used trick plays to have Zorn throw passes to a 5'9" kicker. They used trick plays to have Zorn pitch the ball while in a kneeling position like a Revolutionary War soldier. It was totally awesome, but it came with a terrible cost that wouldn't be seen for decades. Nothing about what you're seeing works, despite every person on the field doing what was asked of them. Their opponents even used a timeout to essentially say, "Hey, you sure about this one?" But in the end, Jim Zorn loved the thrill of the trick play too much. He craved it, was blinded by it, until we were gifted this miserable, ill-conceived, perfectly executed testament to failure. Hey, thanks for watching The Worst. Make sure you subscribe to SB Nation and go down to those comments to tell me why the Colts play really was the worst. Not this one I just spent a lot of time on.